Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Today I'll be showing you yet another restoration project I've just finished up here. And this is for Joe, who owns this really nice 74 Minimoog. So I went to this one, redid the wood cabinet. It's actually had a refinish on it. It wasn't a bad looking cabinet when it came in, but it did have some spots where the lacquer finish had peeled off. And it had some scarring in it where it looks like something like the cord or something got laid right here and it indented into the wood. So I sanded all that back and refinished the wood here. Has some beautiful wood grain in it now, as you can see. Looks really, really beautiful. It's just a really nice looking Minimoog. Delaminated the front interface panel. Got rid of the laminate that was on there that was turning white, as you've seen me do in other videos. Went through all the pots, cleaned all the pots, switches, rebuilt the keyboard assembly, complete with new bushings, full alignment, contact travel, as well as key height alignment. I also had to replace some contacts on this keyboard, which that's a little tricky job if you've never done that. You have to actually pull the circuit board off the keyboard and actually desoldered the contact springs and replace those. A little tricky. I also replaced the LHC panel. As you can see, the LHC panel was discolored. Somebody had tried to do something. I don't know what happened there, but it turned white, and that's not the laminate. You can see here's the laminate here. Somebody had ripped some of the laminate off, and I guess they was trying something to remove this laminate, and it discolored it. So replaced that with a new LHC panel there, and did the dead zone mod to the circuitry while I had it all apart. So it has dead zone for the pitch wheel, which gives you 0 volts when you're in the center detent. So you don't have any sharps or flats when you return this wheel to the center position. Makes playing with the wheel much better, much more accurate. So did all that, and of course it's had all the circuitry gone through, and it's just a fantastic instrument. It's really good, but you can see the wood grain there. Looks really beautiful. It's got some good grain in this one. I'll bring you on around back here. You can see everything's uniform. I also redid the insides as well, so the insides match the outside. New Moog badge back here. It was missing this badge. So these are actually reproduction badges here. But Joe, this is your cylinder, 4558, as you can see. I believe that's an 8. Yeah, that's an 8. 4558. I thought it was a 6 for a minute, but it is 4558. And just looks really good. Also redid all the upper trim, cleaned everything really good, cleaned the under chassis as well. And new hardware in the bottom chassis. Some of the screws were missing that held this thing together. The holes were actually bored out, so I put a little larger screw in there. Holds it together much better, and took care of all that for you. But once again, you can just see how beautiful this wood grain is all the way across it. New badge here as well. Looks really, really good. It's just a really good looking Minimoog. Of course, the front is also just as detailed. Just looks really good all the way across it. But anyways, let me get the camera on the tripod here, and I'll give you guys a sound demo. Alright, so anyways, I'll first start just by showing you the oscillators independently. Then we'll combine them. I'll take you through each section like I always do on these things. But here's oscillator 1 by itself first. Good clean volume pot as well. As you can hear. Here's oscillator 2. Good clean volume pot there. And here's oscillator 3. Here they are together. And yeah, how accurate these footages are. anyway, see how great those oscillators sound there? I don't know if I showed you the volume control oscillator 3 or not. Here's the volume control if I didn't. Good clean volume pot there as well. And so anyways, there's your 3 oscillators. I will go back and show you too the oscillator detuning. Clean these pots here as well. You hear how great they sound. So here's oscillator 2 only. Here's oscillator 2, here's oscillator 3. They are back together. So anyways, there's the oscillators. We got the noise source. Good clean volume pot here as well. White and pink noise. So there's the noise source. Now we got the filter. So the filter's already got key tracking on right here. So you turn 440 Hertz on. Okay, make this thing self-oscillate. There we go. Here's our filter. It's just a filter. And like I always say, I like to add a little effect to the filter sometimes. Now just combine the oscillators back with it. We'll open that filter up a little bit. And what you're in there is just a little bit of the envelope into the filter. So you got this nice kind of harmonic. Turn the oscillators back off. That's what it sounds like, but you put the oscillators back on top of the filter. And that is without effects. Anyways, just something a little bit different for you guys than my normal play around here. But anyways, that's your filter track on the keyboard. Of course, we can turn tracking off. So here's the filter without tracking. As you can see. Put tracking 1 on. Take that off, put tracking 2 on. But when you put them both on, and there's our full track. So that's the filter as far as the key tracking, the frequency set. Now I'll show you the envelope generator. You've already heard a little bit. We'll set everything to 0 in the envelope. We'll bring up our contour mount. Just be a click. We'll start with the attack. Bring it down frequency a little bit here. Turn tracking off too. Once again, the amount of contour is going to set how high that envelope goes into the filter. As our attack, here's our decay. Of course, it has a really long decay time. That's just a little bit, about 2 there. Now we got the sustained amount. I'm going to set everything back to 0. So click again. This will set how low the decay actually goes at 0. So we can turn this on. Turn tracking back on. Basically, that sets your 0 point. And anyways, that's your envelope of your filter. Open the filter back up. We'll turn the oscillators back on here. You have a gnarly sound there. Now I'll show you your loudness contour works. We'll set everything to 0 here. It's just going to be just a click, as you can hear. Bring up our attack. There's your attack. We got the decay. And same thing, that's about it too on the envelope for the decay. We got the same thing, sustain level. As you can see, we're back to a click. I got everything set to 0. Bring up this, we'll put our decay switch on. Now when I bring up the decay, you can see it doesn't fall away back to 0 as I have that to 0. That drops all the way to 0. You can use that for some percussive envelope stuff. Back to 0. And the decay is going to fall out all the way to 0. As you can see, because we can set that full, and it'll be just like so. We've also got the decay switch that you see me hit over here. So if we have a decay set up and I let off a key, it's going to fall right back. It won't fall out the decay unless I hold in the key. It falls out the decay. Flip the decay switch on. That's going to fall out the envelope even when I let off a key. So there we go. It's falling out the decay. I have to hold in the key in order to get the decay. So anyways, that's the envelope generators, that's the oscillators, the filter. Now I'll bring you back over and we'll set up another sound here, and I'll show you the modulation section. Also, going back to the oscillators real quick, if I turn oscillator 1 on only, you can actually hear that I put the dead zone mod in the pitch wheel, so now the pitch wheel has a true dead center position, so you don't have any sharps or flats when you turn the wheel to center position. So it sounds like this right here. I can wiggle that wheel within that detent, and there's no tuning drill. It makes it much more playable when you want to do something with a bend. As you can hear. Now we'll turn oscillator 3 into LFO source, like so. We got oscillator 3 injected. Let's actually modulate the oscillators first. Oscillator 1 and 2 are still on. So you can hear it's got a really nice so that's it, modulating the oscillators off the actual oscillator 3. We can also inject noise into the modulation mix. And that's really nice for little wavering effects, which I bring this up quite often. But I like to do something like where I set the oscillators to 8. It doesn't take very much, but you put a little reverb on something like this and a slow attack. So we'll get a slow attack going. It just is a nice kind of, it wavers the oscillators a little bit. It gives it kind of a tape effect. Or we can modulate once again by the mixture of the two by changing this knob. That's just it with a little effect on that sound. So you can still hear the oscillator modulating as well as the noise source. Or full noise, and of course you can do white or pink. Like so. And that's your modulation of your oscillators. You can also modulate your filter. So if we go here and close this filter up, turn this on. Now we can put an envelope generator on that. Some classic kind of Pink Floyd kind of stuff. Or we can inject noise into that as well. So we can bring the noise in our modulation mix. There's just our filter. Pink. So anyways, that's the modulation section. And one last thing I will show you too is I'll go down the scale of the keyboard, show you all the keys work. You've heard glide a little bit as well. We'll turn on just one oscillator for this, open the filter up, and so let me turn glide off here, and we'll go down through the scale of the keyboard. Now something I like to do is hold in this top note and go through each key so you can hear there's no wavering between the keys. That would indicate a dirty contact or a contact that needs adjustment. So I'll show you that real quick. So you can hear. Then of course we also have glide here, so I'll show you that real quick. So right now glide is off, we got it set to 0. We'll go full on glide, turn it on. That's down. Up. And once again, I always bring this up about glide. If we set a little longer decay time on our loudness contour, as you love to glide, it's going to hold that position at where you're at. So for example, we just hit this high note. You can kind of get those in-between notes with it. But anyways, I want to show you that real quick. And I think that really covers everything on this Minimoog for you, Joe. And once again, really do appreciate you giving me the opportunity to restore this thing for you. And I appreciate all you guys that watch my videos and comment. I always enjoy you guys watching. But there'll be more to come here very soon. Take care.